Who are the best safeties in the NFL entering 2023? What's going on, bottom line viewers and NFL fans? It's Mitch here of the BLV, here to give you my top 25 safeties in the NFL today. The most talented, the most versatile and valuable safeties in the game entering the 2023 NFL season. If that sounds good, don't forget to spike the like button and subscribe for more NFL position rankings just like this. Now, let's rank some safeties. Kicking off my top 25 safeties in the NFL today, at number 25, Tashaun Gibson of the San Francisco 49ers. I was not going to include Gibson on this list. I was going to go with a younger safety. But what Gibson was able to do in San Francisco last year, 5 interceptions, a massive bounce back season for a guy that's kind of been off the map early in his career, Pro Bowl level talent, goes to San Francisco, steadies the back end, becomes the presence, the veteran presence to calm the rest of that secondary. Great run defender, sure tackler, really good in the box, and then also showcased his ability to be a playmaker with 5 picks last season in combination with Hufanga. They are just a perfect blend of madness and steadiness. Gibson, entering 2023, is one of the most underrated, overlooked safeties in the NFL. At number 24, Kyle Hamilton of the Baltimore Ravens. Kyle Hamilton, as a rookie, took some time to figure out where he could play in the NFL. But as soon as the Ravens figured out that he's basically a big nickel defender and an extra linebacker on the field at all times, he thrived. He thrived to the point of becoming one of PFF's best graded safeties. Kyle Hamilton found a role in the league, which is being near the line of scrimmage, using his intelligence and his athleticism for a big man that is pretty much built like a linebacker who moves like a safety. You don't want him matching up man-to-man coverage with wide receivers, but if he's reading the eyes of the quarterback, he's able to make plays on the football. He's got the length, he's got the size, and then he's also got the strength to get in there and play against the run. He is one of already the most sound safeties in all of football. I'm extremely intrigued to see how he takes a step forward in year number 2 in his development and how they use him in year number 2. Does his role change at all? Does it evolve at all? But so far, so good for Kyle Hamilton out of Notre Dame. At number 23, Cameron Curl of the Washington Commanders. Cameron Curl has already become, in his very young career, one of the most steady and reliable safeties in the entire NFL. For Washington's defense, he is one of the most intelligent players. He is the leader of the back end of their defense. He is the guy that sets up everyone else, making sure that everyone else knows what's going on, being on the same page, being the leader and communicator in the back end. And he's very steady. He rarely makes a mistake in coverage. He's rarely in the wrong place at the wrong time, rather in run defense or in pass coverage. He always seems to be the safety that fits the run and gets to the running back, or is able to make the tackle against a receiver. Just every time you watch this guy play, he is in the right place at the right time, which speaks to very high football IQ. He's not one of the biggest playmakers in the NFL at this position, but one of the most steady and reliable players at this position already in his young career. At number 22, Vonn Bell, now of the Carolina Panthers, formerly of the Cincinnati Bengals. Vonn Bell is one of the best box safeties that actually has the versatility to go deep and play in deep areas of the field and play split safety. Vonn Bell has great versatility, both being able to play at a high level in coverage and run defense. And he's extremely reliable, consistent. He plays a ton of snaps and games every single season. And last year, he had 4 picks. So he definitely had one of his best playmaking seasons last year. He will be missed for the Cincinnati Bengals secondary because of his steadiness, because of his reliability, because of his intelligence, and then also he's a great tackler, great run defender. Him and Jessie Bates were a perfect complement because he was really good in the box and then had the versatility to go and drop back, and Jessie Bates was the opposite. He was great in coverage, but could actually play the run when needed. So Von Bell now in Carolina, I think he's just going to calm down that Panthers secondary a little bit and add a veteran presence to their back end. At number 21, Eddie Jackson of the Chicago Bears. Eddie Jackson, at one point in time, was one of the NFL's best safeties. And in moments, he pops off the screen with rare playmaking ability and ability to diagnose offenses, quarterbacks, read what they're going to do, break on the football, and make big interceptions, plays, and game-changing plays. Eddie Jackson, though, I think has just refined his game. Maybe he's not the most explosive guy any longer in his career, but I do feel he's become more reliable and consistent in other aspects of his game. He's better in run defense, feels like he has a better understanding of run fits and how to make a tackle in the box or how to maneuver within the box. He's also great at free safety, but can play strong safety. He's played at times in the nickel. It just feels like Eddie Jackson is one of those players who is put in whichever spot the defensive coordinator needs him the most, which sometimes does not allow him to play at his peak levels, but that speaks to his versatility and his value for the Chicago defense. And it really feels like in this scheme under Eberflus, he's going to play some of his best, most consistent football of his career. At number 20, Javon Holland of the Miami Dolphins. If you want to point to one safety that has the talent, the ability to become a superstar in the NFL, it's Javon Holland. Has he done that yet? Not quite. He's been a little bit up and down through his first 2 seasons. I felt his first year maybe a little bit better than his second. But the one thing about his second year was what he was asked to do. He was asked to do more. Because Miami was dealing with injuries, he had to kind of play everywhere. And that was definitely a switch up from year number 1. But in my opinion, Javon Holland has some of the best range in the NFL. Explosive player, can fly from sideline to sideline, can break up passes at an elite level, can sense quarterbacks and fly to the football with physicality as well as playmaking and kind of ball awareness and ball skills. Javon Holland has all the traits to become a true elite safety in this league. One of the next Devin McCourty, Jessie Bates type of players right here in Miami. I'm extremely intrigued to see how he fits in Vic Fangio's system. At number 19, Harrison Smith of the Minnesota Vikings. Harrison Smith has been on this list for as long as I can remember. He's been one of the best safeties in the NFL, at times maybe arguably the best safety in the NFL. Last year, he put up a ton of production in terms of picks. I think he had 5. But outside of the game-changing turnovers, just like his counterpart, Patrick Peterson, the veteran in the secondary, it felt like Minnesota as a secondary as a whole was really bent out of shape. And I don't know how much of that was Harrison Smith's fault. Maybe he just doesn't have the range or the speed anymore. Maybe they were just refining his role too small in comparison to years past where he kind of played everywhere in the box, deep, strong, free, kind of did everything, right? This past year, it felt like he kind of stuck to one position. Maybe that's due to age, and they don't want to ask him to do too much at this point in his career. Maybe he is slowing down, and in my opinion, he might be slightly, but at his best, he's still really good because he's super savvy, super smart. He has one of the highest IQs in football at this position, and he is a very steady in-box defender, as well as being a very savvy coverage defender, so Harrison Smith still belongs on this list, even though he's getting a little bit older. At number 18, Donovan Wilson of the Dallas Cowboys. Donovan Wilson is one of my favorite watches in the NFL. If you guys have never checked out a Donovan Wilson highlight tape, I definitely recommend it if you like physicality and safeties who knock your block off, because Donovan Wilson comes downhill and he smashes you, and he regularly gets in the backfield and makes routine run defense stops for the Dallas Cowboys, and he's also really good lurking over the middle of the field. One of the Dallas Cowboys' favorite coverages is the cover one robber, and typically Wilson is one of those players that plays over the middle of the field. Hooker will drop back. Usually Curse is also in man coverage against a tight end or something like that. And these three safeties perfectly complement each other in their skill sets. Wilson is somebody that's great in the middle of the field in coverage, but awesome against the run. A good blitzer as well, putting up pressures and sacks last season. I just really love his game as a physical presence for the Dallas Cowboys defense. At number 17, Tyron Matthew of the New Orleans Saints. Tyron Matthew, the Honey Badger, still remains on this list. At times in recent history, I've questioned his physicality, but last year, he played really well. And what I liked about how he played, he went to a new team. He once again resumed the leadership position. He is just a natural born leader, Tyron Matthew is. The way he plays, teammates admire it. The IQ for the game, teammates follow it. And his versatility is rare. He still has the ability to play in the slot at a pretty high level. And he can blitz. He can stop the run. Not necessarily due to size, because we know he doesn't have size, but quickness and the ability to see the hole open up and make the tackle. And he's also really good still deep. Maybe he doesn't have the range he used to have, but just that awareness and understanding of defenses. And I think he's once again had another good year in 2022. I expect another solid year in 2023. He is slowing down as an athlete, and you do worry about that at a guy at his size, but he still has such intelligence, game awareness, and game speed that I don't think he's going anywhere as long as he stays on the football field. At number 16, Jayron Kearse of the Dallas Cowboys. Jayron Kearse is one of these jack of all trades, versatile box safeties that is a matchup player who can match up with tight ends or running backs, can play in the nickel position, can maybe play as an extra linebacker. He has great size and great length. And as I discussed on my linebacker rankings, Kearse is a similar type of player as many of those great coverage players, where he has such long arms, such great wingspan that he can get his hands and arms in the way to tap down passes and bat down passes. He's regularly at the top of the list in terms of breakups, forced incompletions, and he's really good at making stops in the box, at feeling out the run game. He has that rare size for a safety to not be outmatched in the box, and he has really good feel for the middle of the field coverage as well. Another perfect complement at safety to Donovan Wilson and Hooker. Kearse is my favorite of the bunch as a really versatile in-box defender. At number 15, Jimmy Ward of the Houston Texans. Jimmy Ward has just about done everything that a secondary player can do. He's played strong safety. He's played free safety. He's played both of those positions at a Pro Bowl level. And then last year, Kyle Shanahan said, well, we've got this great safety combination. If you want to get on the field, buddy, you gotta play nickel. So what did he do? He just performed and played the nickel position, as well as just about any player in football, still grading inside the top 7 for Pro Football Focus safeties. Jimmy Ward is just a fantastic football player. Does he get hurt sometimes? Definitely. He's not the most reliable in terms of health, because he is a little bit smaller and he plays with a reckless abandon that I love, but it gets him injured. He flies in the box and makes a ton of stops behind the line of scrimmage or at the line of scrimmage. He's great at reading the screen game and making plays there. And he can also match up on slot receivers, play man-to-man coverage, or like I said, he can play free safety. He can drop deep. He can just do everything. I absolutely love this player, and he's going to help the Texans exponentially, especially in combination with Jalen Petrie next year in 2023. At number 14, Quandre Diggs of the Seattle Seahawks. Quandre Diggs, point blank period, is just a playmaking safety. He is one of the best ball hawks in all of football. You look at his stats in terms of picks, and nobody really does it better. 5, 4, 4. 3 years in a row, putting up those type of numbers. It's regular for Diggs to be at the top of the league in terms of interceptions. He's also at the top of the league in terms of reliability, staying on the field, playing a lot of snaps for his defense. And what he does at an elite level, he's not an in-box defender. He's not going to make a bunch of plays against the run, but he's going to cover up everything. All the faults of his corners, all the faults of the rest of his secondary. He covers it up as that deep, true free safety in the middle of the field for Seattle's defense, and he plays it at a very high level. Quandre Diggs perfectly plays the safe card and the playmaking card at the same time. At number 13, Jordan Poyer of the Buffalo Bills. Jordan Poyer obviously missed some time last year, but he also didn't play at his all-time peak like he did the year previous. So he definitely showed some signs of regression. He's definitely getting older. And I do think there's a reason his market in free agency wasn't as large or as vast as usual. But he's still a really good football player. And last year, 4 picks and I think 12 games. Pretty impressive. Jordan Poyer's a really good run defender, a really good tight end matchup player, taking tight ends regularly out of the game. And I definitely think he was impacted without his partner in crime, Micah Hyde, for much of the year. It put more stress on him to do some things that he doesn't typically do. And it also, just the coordination of the back end wasn't the same. So I'd expect Jordan Poyer to still play at a very high level. The only thing you worry about is he's getting a little bit older. But in terms of a matchup tight end stopper, a run defender, and a great middle of the field intermediate pass cover guy, he's really awesome. At number 12, CJ Gardner-Johnson, now of the Detroit Lions. When I saw that the Saints traded Chauncey, CJ, Gardner-Johnson to the Philadelphia Eagles, I thought that was one of the biggest steals of a trade I have ever seen. Because I know how good this guy can be. I know how much of a pest he can be. I know what type of attitude he can bring to a defense. And even though his stats or his grade didn't show the value he brought to New Orleans, you saw it on the field. He goes to Philadelphia. He plays more of a true free safety role. And then they put him in the slot every once in a while. And he has 6 picks. And I think 12 games. He didn't even play the whole year, and he led the NFL in interceptions, at least tied for it. That's the type of playmaker he became in Philadelphia, with a good pass rush in front of him, with good players around him, but still, he was their biggest playmaker, and at times their best player in that secondary. A game changer. And we know what CJ can do. He can play slot at an elite level. He can shut down slot receivers. He can go one-on-one with Chris Godwin, right? And then at the same time, now we've seen that he can play free safety and play at a very high level as a playmaker. So he's not going to make a ton of plays against the run, but in coverage, the guy is as feisty and as good as it gets. At number 11, Kyle Duggar of the New England Patriots. Kyle Duggar is well on his way to becoming an absolutely bona fide superstar in the NFL at the safety position. There is just about nothing, athletically speaking, that Kyle Duggar cannot achieve. If you want him to break on the football at the speed of light like Barry Allen, he will break on the football, he will pick it off just like he did against the Raiders. If you want him to jump over the line of scrimmage and make plays in the run game or shoot through a gap, he'll do that. If you want him to break up a screen at the line of scrimmage, he'll do that. If you want him to play linebacker, he can set the edge. Why not? He can play edge. I don't even care. Kyle Duggar is a special athletic specimen that New England basically asks to do everything. He plays strong safety, but he could also play deep, and I think we're going to see that more this year post Devin McCourty in New England's defense, and he also can play as a linebacker. So Kyle Duggar just does it all. He's versatile as versatile gets, and he is one of the best safeties in the NFL. Entering the top 10 safeties in the NFL today at number 10, Talanoa Hufanga. Yes, you better learn his name because he's here to stay. One of the most incredible watches in all of football. A flying phenom is Hufanga for the 49ers defense. An absolute playmaker. No care whatsoever for his body in the run game, in the pass game. He just flies around, tips the ball, grabs crazy interceptions. There's a reason he got the Troy Polamalu treatment and comparison. Because of his reckless abandon. He does not care. He is just going to fly around and try to make a play. And we saw that from week 1 on. There's a reason he was named an All-Pro. There's a reason he's in my top 10. Is he the most consistent? No, but that comes with his style of play. He will get burnt every once in a while, but he'll also at the same time force a fumble, create a negative play, cause an interception, and bring energy to the 49er defense. That is why he's so valuable. At number 9, Marcus Williams of the Baltimore Ravens. Marcus Williams is one of those safeties that when you don't hear his name, he's playing really well. He's doing his job. That is exactly why Marcus Williams is underrated, because a lot of football fans sometimes don't even see him on the screen or see what he's doing. It's really hard on TV to see what he's doing, but he's covering the deep area of the field. He's not allowing anything behind him. He is responsible for not giving up the big play. And yeah, Baltimore struggled early in the year last year against the pass and against the big play. But once they figured out their structure and their new scheme, Marcus Williams thrived and this defense thrived. And I think moving forward, he is going to once again steady a defense and make that defense, like he did in New Orleans, one of the best against the pass in all of football, because he covers so much ground. He's so smart. He reads quarterbacks so well that he is one of the best safeties in football. At number 8, Micah Hyde of the Buffalo Bills. Micah Hyde didn't really play last year. He had a very short season, and it really hurt the Buffalo Bills. If you want to know how much, just take a look at that playoff game against Cincinnati where I've never seen so many coverage busts. I mean, just guys open in the snow, nonetheless. And then you look at week 17 or 18 against New England, and that offense was shredding you up down the field? That should not happen, and that's because Micah Hyde, their presence, their free safety, the guy with the range, the guy with the smarts, the guy that breaks up all these passes and gets his hands on the football and can run from one side of the field to the opposite side of the field and make a play on the football, wasn't there. Micah Hyde's such a great football player. He's been one of my favorites for a very long time, dating back to Green Bay, where he was more of a nickel defender or an extra corner. He is one of the best safeties in the NFL still. At number 7, Budda Baker of the Arizona Cardinals. The human missile, Budda Baker, is absolutely the best football player on the Arizona Cardinals, and there is no discussion whatsoever. Budda Baker is an absolute beast. You have to appreciate a guy that's extremely undersized, that plays with so much heart, so much passion. He is a great leader off the field. He motivates the rest of his teammates, the rest of his secondary, and he just does everything that is asked of him. Whether it's be that inbox guy that makes plays against the short passing game at an elite level, the screen game at an elite level, breaks on the football at an elite level, or explodes to tackle opposing running backs. He just does everything as a missile on the football field. You have to love his style of play. He is one of the 10 best safeties in the NFL today. At number 6, Antoine Winfield Jr. of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Man, I've had a crush on Antoine Winfield Jr.'s football game since coming out of college. I wanted the Bucs to draft him, and it's one of those rare moments where the team you wanted to draft, a player actually drafts that player, and he goes on to win a Super Bowl. He's been great since day one. He has such a high IQ, obviously, with his father being a great corner and a good safety in the NFL, and he's done the very same, whether it's play in the slot, play as a box blitzer where he's phenomenal, or it's play against the run, or it's play deep free safety. Winfield does it all. I think he is a lot like Budda Baker, except he's better in deep rangy coverage. He actually has great ball skills for an undersized guy, and he as well is an absolute missile, a set-the-tone safety in the NFL today. Entering the top 5 safeties in the NFL right now, it is Jessie Bates of the Atlanta Falcons. There's a reason Jessie Bates was paid as much money as Jessie Bates was paid, because of his range. There are really only a handful of safeties that have the capability of Jessie Bates, where he has such great range, speed, and athleticism to cover all areas of the field on a single play. He has a rare skill set where he can play as a deep free safety and launch himself into the box and become an extra run defender. He's a sure tackler in the back end, but he's an expert coverage player. He's not a matchup player, but he's an excellent single safety, and I think he is going to make Atlanta so much better from the plays that you don't really see, from the plays you don't hear his name. Jessie Bates is a top 5 safety in this league. At number 4, Justin Simmons of the Denver Broncos. Justin Simmons has been one of the most consistent football players over the last 5 years. And last year, it might have not been his best season in terms of consistency or in terms of grade, but in terms of turnovers. There was nobody that forced more turnovers in the NFL than Justin Simmons last year, and he did it by a couple. So Justin Simmons had 6 picks. I think he had 3 forced fumbles. The guy was an absolute ball magnet last year. And what I love about Simmons is his ability in that quarters defense to be able to play equally as a deep cover guy or an in-box defender. He's a rare breed of free safety who's like a free safety and a strong safety in one package, and he brings the best of both worlds for one football player. Just an awesome player, one of the most consistent safeties in the NFL today. At number 3, Kevin Byard of the Tennessee Titans. I think there is an argument that Kevin Byard is the best safety in the NFL. He's been very good, if not elite, for about 5 to 7 years, it feels like, maybe even longer. He's been around a while, and he's played strong safety, box. He's played free safety, deep. He's had years where he's been at the top of the league in interceptions. He's had seasons where he was the best safety in the NFL, maybe last year, right? Kevin Byard can match up with tight ends. Kevin Byard can play nickel. Kevin Byard can do just about anything Mike Vrabel and the Tennessee Titans defense asks him to do, and he does it all at an elite level. He's a good tackler. He doesn't miss. He's a great coverage player, and he's one of the safeties that kind of toys with opposing quarterbacks. If you're not careful, he will trick you into an interception every now and again. Kevin Byard's top 3 in this league. At number 2, Micah Fitzpatrick of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Micah Fitzpatrick is the 2nd best safety in the NFL, and it's because he has a special ability to play free safety, largely deep areas of the field, cover up those areas, and be able to react on all plays. Intermediate passes, short passes, screens, runs especially. Micah Fitzpatrick is a rare playmaker and has rare vision and feel for a game. He can read and react so fast. It's like he's playing linebacker. He's closer to the line of scrimmage, but he's actually way back there playing free safety. He lurks the middle of the field as good as anybody, probably the best in the NFL. He can match up with tight ends at times, but he's just so good in zone coverage. He's so good with his eyes on the quarterback. He is absolutely, arguably the best safety in the NFL, but I have him at number 2. And the best safety in the NFL today is Derwin James of the Los Angeles Chargers. There was one time where we didn't know if Derwin James was going to play again at a high level. He missed so much time, so many games, felt like we hadn't seen him in so long. This past year, Derwin James once again played at an elite level. And the thing about Derwin James is that he keeps adding elements to his football game. This past year, it was pass rushing. It was that Jamal Adams element of being a presence, rushing the quarterback, getting to the quarterback, causing pressure, being at the line of scrimmage. He's a rare breed because he has the quickness and coverage capabilities in man to cover tight ends and slot receivers. He can play in the box as a big, strong safety against the run, or he can actually play at the end of the defensive line and rush the quarterback as a blitzer. And that is what makes him the best. He does it all, and he does it all at a high level. And he can play in any scheme, strong, free, or nickel. And that is why, to me, he's the most valuable safety in the NFL and my top safety in the league entering 2023. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed, don't forget to Gronk spike the like button and subscribe for more NFL position rankings here on the BLV. It's Mitch. Peace.